kind of blocked out the answers here, but WebAssign is giving you a hint on how to start this problem. Okay, we're supposed to determine the limit of the sequence or show that it diverges. So what they've done is they said to figure out the limit of the sequence, well, think about the n plus 1 term. If you divide that by the nth term, that can give you some information on what's happening with this pattern as we go on in time, as we go on in our sequence. So to compute this that they're looking for, the a sub n plus 1 term is 5,000 n plus 1 over n plus 1 factorial. And so if we're trying to compute a of n plus 1 divided by a sub n, then what we're trying to compute is that's the a of n plus 1 term, and we're dividing it by this term. Oh, I dropped my factorial. So what you want to do is flip and multiply the second fraction. So flip and multiply, and then we can do some expanding and some cross-canceling. Okay, because here, this is the same thing as n plus 1 times n factorial, right? You can expand a little bit. Like a factorial means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So instead, let's rewrite this as n plus 1 times n factorial. That way, these can cancel out. And we have 5,000 to the n plus 1 divided by 5,000 to the nth. So that's just going to leave us with 5,000 to the first power in the numerator. So for the first question they're asking us for, we just found out that the a sub n plus 1 divided by the 8. So the next term divided by the current term is 5,000 over n plus 1. Okay, so this is 5,000 over n plus 1. Okay, and then it's saying this term goes to something as n goes to infinity. So what happens this term as n goes to infinity? Well, it gets infinitely close to 0, right? Because you're thinking about a number going towards infinity here, like a billion or a trillion. Dividing 5,000 by a trillion makes it really small. And if you keep going, it gets closer and closer to 0. So a sub n, we would say, goes to 0 as this, as the limit of n, as n goes to infinity. So therefore, because the sequence reaches 0 at some point, the sequence, I think that I don't have the drop down here. I think what they want us to choose is converges.